Hello, and welcome to Cindy's Corner. Today, boys and girls, we're going to read about Dusty. This is from the movie Planes, and those of you that know me know this, but those that don't, I am a pilot, so I wanted to share this book, and it's really about our firefighters and how great they are. This one is Fire and Rescue. It is a level 2-1 book, and so you can test on it. Here's our title page. It is Fire and Rescue. It's through Disney. If you have this book, you can get it and follow along. Dusty Crophopper was a world-famous racing champion, but he always made time for his friends in Prop Wash Junction. One day, after Dusty had returned home from a big race, he and his coach, Skipper, a fighter plane, went for a routine test run together. Suddenly, though, Dusty started to lose control and altitude. Skipper guided a weak and shaky Dusty in for an emergency landing. A little while later, Dottie, Dusty's mechanic, delivered the bad news. Your reduction gearbox is failing. Dottie explained that even worse, she couldn't get him a replacement because Dusty's gearbox was no longer being made. Dusty would have to slow down and stay safe. Look, I'm going to install a warning light on your panel. If it comes on, you'll need to pull power. Dusty knew what that meant. He wouldn't be able to race anymore. Dusty was heartbroken. That night, Dusty took off by himself, but as he started to go faster, his warning lights began to blink. While Dusty was looking at his light, he accidentally clipped the tower and spun out of control. He made a bumpy landing, but before he could stop, he slammed into the Fill-N-Fly gas station. The gas pump exploded. Mayday! The town's fire engine took control as Dottie and Sparky, a tug, unrolled his fire hose and attached it to the hydrant, but the hose began to leak. Mayday looked up at the water tower. I'm going to need some help. Dusty and his friends worked together to topple the tower. Its gushing water soon put out the flames. The next day, the airport was shut down by safety officials. It couldn't reopen until Mayday hired a second firefighter. Back at Mayday's hangar, Dusty felt terrible. I wish there was something I could do. Then he spotted a picture of Mayday with an old crop dusting plane. Mayday told Dusty he had gotten to see one of the first aerial firefighters in action. Instead of dusting crops, like you used to do, they dropped water. Dusty had an idea. He could become Prop Wash Junction's second firefighter. Dusty flew to the Piston Peak Air Attack Base. Mayday, an old friend there named Blade Ranger, who was a fire and rescue helicopter, Blade had agreed to train Dusty to be a firefighter. All the members of the Piston Peak crew were there when Dusty arrived, except for Blade. He was searching the park for fires. Just then, a horn blared. Patch, who ran the control tower, informed everyone about a wildfire located north of Pinecone Ridge. Dusty's eyes widened. I've got to see this. Dusty watched in amazement as everyone instantly began gathering equipment and supplies. They were on their way within minutes, and Dusty was right behind them. When they reached the fire, Blade was already trying to put out the flames. Dipper set up for a jump. Dipper, a super scooper plane, dived and released fire retardant. Wildlifter, a helicopter, did the same. Next, the smoke jumpers parachuted out of Cabby, a transport plane. Blade told them to build a fire line to keep the blaze from spreading. Then he noticed Dusty. He was not happy to have a rookie in the way. Get out of this airspace. Back at the base, after the fire was out, Blade had Dusty fitted with a pair of pontoons. After Dusty completed a shaky obstacle course run, it was time to go to the classroom. Later, Blade set up some flaming barrels on the runway. Dusty flew over them, trying to hit them with retardant, while Blade coached him over the radio. Too early, too high, too low. After days of hard training, Dusty heard from his friends back at Prop Wash Junction. Dusty's best friend, Chug, the fuel truck, announced that they had found the gearbox and would have it in a couple of days. Dusty couldn't believe it. This is the best news. Just what I needed to hear right now. He wouldn't have to give up racing after all. The next time Patch sounded the warning signal, Dusty and the others gathered around Blade as he explained the situation. Lightning storms started a whole slew of spot fires, and they've merged. This is a big one. Even though he hadn't finished his training, Dusty thought he was ready. I want to help. Reluctantly, Blade let Dusty join them. As the crew worked to contain the raging fire, the wind shifted, and the flames ignited the trees behind the smoke jumpers. Dynamite called a warning just as a tree fell and blocked their escaped route. Dusty rushed in. I see them. I've got them. He made a perfect drop, and Dynamite and the others were able to escape. After the blaze was out, the firefighters noticed private jets soaring overhead. Cad Spinner, the superintendent of the park, was throwing a party for the grand reopening of the fuselage that night. Cad had invited Dusty to the party. He knew having a superstar racer there would impress his boss. I'm up for a promotion. Later that evening, Dusty rode out onto the veranda. He joined his friends and a sweet old RV couple named Winnie and Harvey around a fire pit. As everyone talked, Dusty was surprised to learn that they all were working on their second careers. Even most of the firefighters had had other jobs before becoming part of the Piston Peak crew. The next morning, Chug called with bad news. They hadn't found the gearbox. Dusty needed after all. Dusty was forced to put his disappointment aside when Patch announced that there was a fire heading toward the fuselage. Blade radioed, "Maru, the base's expert mechanic. They're going to have to evacuate." Up in the air, Blade told Dusty to drop half his load of retardant on the fire, but the trainee mistakenly released it all. When Dusty tried to reload at the lake, the strong currents pulled him toward the waterfall. Blade urged him to take off. Now redline it. Push your engine." Dusty's warning light came on. He had no choice but to pull power. Dusty was almost to the falls. At the last minute, Blade swooped in and snagged the plane with his hoist. The pair quickly descended into the burning forest. In front of an abandoned mine shaft, Dusty told Blade about his broken gearbox. He was discouraged and wanted to give up firefighting. Blade tried to encourage him. "If you give up today, think of all the lives you won't save tomorrow." As the fire closed in, the two hurried into the mine shaft. When the flames reached the entrance, Blade shedded Dusty to keep him safe. After the fire moved past them, an injured Blade tried to take off and slammed into the ground. Dusty was on the radio in a flash. "Patch, come in. Blade is down. I repeat, Blade is down." Windlifter arrived to airlift Blade back to the base for emergency repairs. Back at the fuselage, panicked guests fled any way they could. Cad seemed to be more concerned about his hotel than about them. He gave an order to his assistant: "Reroute the main water line to the roof sprinklers." Cad was going to take the water the firefighters needed to mix with the retardant. Flaming debris blocked the main road. There was no way out. With Blade down, Windlifter was in charge. He ordered everyone to fill up with water, but nothing came out of the hoses. "All we have left is what's in our tanks. Let's make it count." The firefighters flew straight to the blocked exit. Windlifter and Dipper swooped in and quickly extinguished their targets. But the remaining flames were about to override a train full of guests. Dusty expediently glided in, lined up with the fire, and made a perfect drop. There was no time for Dusty to celebrate. Harvey and Winnie were trapped on a burning bridge. Dusty made a vertical climb up the falls, swooping water all the way. He pushed hard, even as his red light started to blink. A repaired blade arrived in time to help. Dusty put out the fire in one pass. His friends were safe. Blade congratulated him. "Good move, partner." A terrible grinding sound filled the air. Dusty's prop had stopped spinning. He smiled. His smile faded as he began to huddle toward the ground with increasing, terrifying speed. Not one blade could stop him from crashing. When Dusty woke up days later, his air attack friends were overjoyed to see their new team member again. Maru had a special surprise for Dusty. He had built him a new gearbox. Blade smiled at Dusty with pride. "Crop Hopper, I'd say you've earned that certification." Dusty was better than new. Now he could fight fires and keep racing. Back in Prop Wash Junction, Mayday was better than new, too, thanks to Dottie. And with Dusty there, the airport had reopened. Mayday was so grateful. To do what you did, it takes a special kind of plane. Later, Dusty and the Piston Peak Air Attack crew took to the sky. It was the best air show anyone had ever seen. Have you ever been to an air show? If you've been to an air show, tell me about it. What planes did you see? Perhaps you've seen a crop duster. Perhaps you've seen Dusty. I've seen Dusty. And Dusty is back in the crop field in Texas now. Friends, if you like this book, think of firemen. Give us 2 thumbs up and tell your friends. More books are coming on Cindy's Corner, and you've got to subscribe. Make sure you've subscribed, because we've got a winner coming up that's going to receive something special. Have a great day. Think of firemen.